Hi, this is Brad Wiseman on Inthesport with Chad Ackerman. He's one of our senior staff writers and also a television personality for Inthesport. Chad, let's talk a little bit about the weekend of college football. So we're looking D1, some of the big main conferences that everybody follows. And what did you see this weekend that was interesting? Let's take a look. Let's talk about the Big 10 conference, some of those games that came up. Just touch on a couple of them and things you noticed that were interesting.
Well, obviously, to finish up on last week's conversation about the Heisman trophies, Ohio State played their nemesis, Michigan State. Michigan State's been a kind of a thorn in Ohio State's back or neck, or however you want to say it, for a while. Seems to ruin a few of their seasons, and they gave Ohio State all they could handle yesterday in East Lansing. But as I mentioned, Braxton Miller, 6'3", phenomenal athlete. Just with his legs and his ability to throw and just come up with the clutch plays. They eked one out. It was a great game for them. Also in the Big 10, noticed Nebraska struggled with Wisconsin early on. Looked like Wisconsin was going to pull a big upset there in Lincoln, and Nebraska pulled it out at the end, ended up winning by a field goal. Penn State went into Illinois, gave them pretty much a smackdown in Champaign. So it's pretty interesting that, team that lost 16 players from defections from the whole scandal with Penn State. Basically, walk-ons on this team, young guys, inexperienced. They're leading a receiver on the team right now. Last year had 1 catch. So they're winning games, a couple of games. I think they've won 3 games now, and we're not expecting world beating, but they're winning games, and that's a positive sign. A couple of the other teams were off, and but right now it looks like Ohio State, Urban Meyer, 5-0. They're off to a good start.
So would you say, when you look at the Big 10 and you look at the other conferences, do you see a big difference between speed within the Big 10 conference versus other conferences? Because what I'm noticing is you take schools out of the Big 10 that play in the Big 10 that are the primo programs, and you move them to play a game against an SEC team, and more often than not they get the tar beat out of them. So is that something you would agree with or no?
Without a doubt, Brad. I mean, it's Big 10 has always been known for 3 yards and a pile of dust. It's a very physical league. It has expanded talent-wise. It is producing some really decent quarterbacks. Over the years, it does produce some running backs, but it's the style of play there. Big 10 is smash mouth football, and when you go to SEC or even the Pac-12, just incredible speed of these teams, let alone their skill, size, and talent. Yeah, there is definitely a big difference between the speed of the Big 10 players and the speed of the Pac-12.
So we'll be back in a second. We're going to talk a little bit about the SEC in about 2 minutes here.